Hi, I'm Sadiq.
And I'm C from Young Crypto. Actually, I have a fun crypto fact for you today. Did you know that Matter, the smart home standard, how do you think it delivers firmware updates if you opt into the Matter protocol?
I'd imagine there's like some hub that like distributes firmware updates to the devices. Uh,
Manufacturers upload their firmware files to the blockchain, and your Matter controller checks the blockchain and
I
pulls the
what?
latest firmware
Excuse
update.
me? What? I can't tell if you're joking, right? Like I can't tell if this is a bit or not. Like I legitimately can't tell if this is a bit. Is this a bit? Is this a bit? Are you joking?
I'm not joking, and I'm pulling up a link right now to put
Um,
in there. Okay,
that's
so
okay. I love technology.
yep. So in the context of modern smart home terminology, modern firmware update blockchain refers to the use of a distributed ledger technology called the distributed compliance ledger, which acts like a blockchain to securely manage and verify firmware updates for Matter devices.
I mean, okay, I guess that's one use of I mean, blockchain is just like a computer science concept, but like okay, we can't go into this right now because
I'm on the
uh,
DCL.
that's not let's not do that. So this episode we're at the end of the year, right? And as it with the end of the year uh content things everybody does is listicles, podcasts about albums and video games we like. So we're doing a song, video games and music podcast today, culture. So we're gonna start with albums of the year. And I think we can like sort of alternate between mine and yours because I don't want to be the only one doing the list. I feel like that would be kind of weird. So that's kind of like you have fewer albums than I do, but that's fine.
No, we have the same amount of albums we put it together, right? Because Brat and the first album, like we're both going to talk about Brat. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, let's talk about the first album on my list. These are not. I didn't put these in any particular order. I just put them in whatever order I feel like. So Charlie XCX, Brat. How do like what's the word to describe this album? It's like the
Bumping that.
bumping bumping that Mean Girls, Party Girl, sad Party Girl vibes. Like it's the kind of vibe where it's like playing at the club, like you're partying, but you're also sad. Like that's the kind of vibe. I don't know. I don't go to clubs. You're the
It's
one.
like like there's the I guess there's like the cis guy version of this where it's like the subreddits of it me memes where it's just like really sad but relatable anime memes. It's like that, but for people who party every single fucking day.
Yeah, like Mean Girls, the track on Brad, that's like my most favorite. Like I literally that's like my favorite track, most favorite track on the album. And I legitimately feel that vibe of that hedonistic like party girl who's like just kind of like has dead eyes and like has been partying a little bit too long. Um
I need to call you out on your shit on this one because you don't party. I've done that party life before, so I actually am curious what part of this do you relate to? Because I've been the person who's been out till like 4 a.m. making poor life choices.
no, I know people like this. It's not that I relate to it personally. I've known people like this. And sort of specifically the mean girl stereotype, the trope rather of a person. Like I know people like that. And that's what I relate to, not me specifically. It's not a
No, that
projection
makes
of
sense. That's
myself.
why you're probably feeding your hinge algorithm of like, what do you want?
Yeah, absolutely, I am. Like that's you're joking, but like that's literally what I'm trying to do with dating apps. It's like Anyways, we don't need to discuss my dating preferences. How I know you
Now
came
I
in.
feel like shit.
No, 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 no,
You
no, no, no,
phrase
no.
it like
You're
that.
fine. No, no, you're fine. I have a question. I know you came into this album, like you came into this into a little late. I feel like you were a little late on the sort of brat hype train. Like I felt like you kind of didn't listen to it until like fairly recently. Actually, like you didn't really, I guess, appreciate the album until. So, what are your like thoughts about like coming to it as like a musical phenomenon and an album?
So I came to Brett by listening to the remix album first. Because I remember I hit you up and I'm like, oh, this cool album, Brat, but it's not really Brat. I didn't realize the remix album because it's just the remixes. And you're like, bro, how are you this late to Brat? And I'm like, oh, that's a separate album.
It is a separate album. That's actually very interesting to me because you came to. What do you think about the differences between like the remixes and the original? I'm curious about your thoughts between like the remixes and the original album.
The remixes keep it as like more of a party album, whereas the original songs are far more introspective and actually emotional.
Yeah, that was my thing, and like that's one of the reasons I don't dislike the remixes, but I always prefer the original album because for me it's like about Charlie XCX sort of embodying this more introspective kind of like thought, like kind of like vibe throughout. Like it's still a party album, but more low key, more sad, more introspective. And I think the remix that I love the most is the one with Lord in it. I did that's the
I
one.
think that should have been on the main album.
And I really think that should be one of like that should not be like the remix. Like that should be the main like track. But I get
it completes the full story. Like the original album version of Girl or Girl So I forgot what's the title name again. You just said it. I'm blanking. Allow me to pull up track lists as I Girl So Confusing. So the original version of it, I feel like that second verse, it's just like hinting at who it could be, but you get a far more complete story when you listen to the remix.
It does, yeah. Like I kind of like what Charlie XCX did from like an artistic point of view, where it's like you have a story that gets fleshed out in like B-sides or remixes. I find that very interesting from like a musical production perspective. I think that's like an interesting way to tell a story, right? I
also guess the version of Guess of Billie Eilish is better than the original.
Oh, I love the guess because Billie Eilish is just like I know Charlie isn't into girls, but I would hit it. Like, you know, like it's very good. It's another queer anthem. It's like it's good. Speaking of sad girl music, did you really listen to Billie Eilish's album this year? It hit me hard and stuff. I thought
I have a confession to make. I have never listened to a single Billie Eilish album.
How? Okay. No, let's.
I've heard some songs. I've heard some songs and playlists and stuff, and I saw the Spotify, or not the Spotify, the Tiny Desk that she just did. But I have never actually sat through and listened to a single Billie Eilish album.
Okay, so I'll confess something here as well, since we're doing confessions. Is that before this album, I wasn't really a Billie Eilish fan. I kind of thought her like kind of like boring whisper pop, essentially was what I call it. Like I was just like this. I don't know why do people think this is good? And I listened. This album though is much more. It's actually interesting because like Charlie X's Brat, it's way more introspective in many ways. Like the first track, Skinny, where she's talking about being body shamed, essentially. It's very interesting. And like the production.
See, but I think what Billie Eilish was, and the Tiny Desk has changed my mind, so I'm probably gonna go back and listen to her albums. Is I thought she was kind of like Drake, where she would just make music for people to play in H&M.
No, she does have like talent. Like it's not like an entirely like.
No, I don't mean like talentless. No, not like Drake is spineless. As listened to the past episode, the prior episodes about the Drake Kendrick beef. But no, I thought it was more like just pop music, you know, to go shopping to. Like there's a really good Mos Def quote. I gotta find it. I'm sending it to you. I don't know if you've seen the Mos Def interview where he was asked about the Drake Kendrick beef, and he's like, Drake makes really good music for, you know, shopping when you're going to Target, shopping, but with an edge. And that's what I kind of thought what like Billie Eilish's music was prior to that Tiny Desk concert.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree with that in the sense that I sort of thought that's what Billie Eilish's music was when I like her previous albums and songs. I legitimately thought she was just like kind of boring, and not particularly interesting musically or as an artist or as a person or whatever. But I think like this album has kind of definitely changed my mind on Billie Eilish. And the thing that really changed my mind on this album, I mean, partially it's like it's the more introspective vibe on this album, and also the production. Bro, this is one of those albums that really shines in Dolby Atmos. Like this is the album that sold me on Dolby Atmos. I'll be real with you. This is the album that sold me on Dolby Atmos. I wasn't sold on it until I know this is.
I know. I spent years. Hold on. Listeners, I spent years back when I used Apple products telling Sadiq, hey, Dolby Atmos is it. And he's like, I don't need Dolby Atmos. I can just get a good stereo reference pair of headphones. No. I have been pushing for years that spatial audio is the best. And this is the only, so I'm not, this is not Shades of Brown. We don't talk about tech here, but I'm going to talk about tech for a minute. This is the only downside to having a Pixel is that Google will not pay the licenses for Dolby Atmos. So you cannot get Dolby Atmos in the title.
Legitimately, this is one of those albums that if you want to give somebody an album that really shines in Dolby Atmos, Like the production on this is already good. Like even the stereo version is amazing, but like it really shines. Like the sort of the sounds, the what's the word, the sound stage, right? The terms audiophiles use, like the sound stage in Dolby Atmos is just expansive. Like it's incredible. And I'd strongly recommend if you have Apple device, if you have Apple Music and you have like AirPods or like an AirPods Max, like I do.
Or Beats too. Specifically, if you do have an Apple product, don't use Dolby Atmos with third party headphones. And the reason is Apple has a proprietary encoder thing, the personalized spatial audio, where they scan your ear. And to me, that's the only way spatial audio sounds good, is when you have like the ear scan going that only works on AirPods. I really wouldn't try it with third party headphones.
Yeah, so this album is just it's good. I love this album. It's not a long album. It's a pretty short album. Actually, it's like 43 minutes, 11 songs. No, 11 songs, and it's like very short and to the point. And it's kind of like a little dark, introspective. The production is also like that. And I gotta say, Lunch, that track was the one track that like I was like, all right, this Billie Eilish got something going on. Anyways, that's Billie Eilish. I think you should listen to it. Because I know you haven't. I haven't actually watched the Tiny Desk yet. At some point, I will. I have a few Tiny Desks I need to watch.
The Sabrina Carpenter one's surprisingly good. I did not realize how country she did a country twist on her songs, and it worked.
I need to listen to that because my opinion of Sabrina Carpenter is, I mean, not negative. It's like generally positive actually, but I don't think she's like an album girly. Like she's more like a singles kind of artist, which is fine. And I've not really listened to that album she put out. I only just like obviously Espresso, which is like the track of the year. So that's good. I'll listen to those. This next album I don't think is on your list. I don't think you listened to Khruangbin, but I feel like you should. I feel like you would enjoy Khruangbin. Khruangbin is a band. They are, how do I describe this? They are like psych bunk surf band. Hard to describe. It's like beach music, like chill beach music. I think you would enjoy it. I legitimately think Khruangbin's entire discography is up your alley, actually. But this is their album this year, Ala Sala. I had it pre-ordered. I've become a Khruangbin fan fairly recently. I bought all their music on Bandcamp. And it's just good music that I put on when I'm reading. Like when I read, like I like to put on like some ambient music that has like no or minimal lyrics or vocals. And Khruangbin's music is like it has a groove to it, so it's not just like not like pure ambient in that sense. So it's like it does have a groove, it does have a funk to it, and it's good. The next one, Baby Rose and Bad Bad Not Good, Slow Burn. This is an EP. This I don't know if you've heard this one.
I've heard a lot of Bad Bad Not Good. Because I used to do songs with the creator way back when. I have not heard this specific EP though, but I will check it out.
This is really, really good. So this is like, it's a very short, it's like an EP, it's like 6 tracks. It is like smoky jazz bar vibes. Like it's just, and Baby Rose has this like very sultry kind of jazz fusion bar singer voice. That's just like very R&B and soul jazz like fused together into this like really lovely kind of like very, very lovely vibe. It's just good. So it's been one of my one of the themes this year that I've been getting more into jazz this year. And this is one of those albums that I was like, all right, I really actually am into jazz quite a bit. So that's one of those. And the next album is instead of actually I wanna kind of like talk about this album and Cowboy Carter at the same time. We can kind of like mix and match this because both of these albums are country albums, American country albums. So I'm talking about
one's E, the other's Ha. We got to put it together, get that yeehaw.
Okay. So I'm talking about Shabuzi's Where I've Been Isn't Where I'm Going. This is album this year, and you may have heard the single from this. The big single from this was the second track, a bar song, Tipsy. Great track, by the way. A very fun song. But the rest of the album, I think legitimately a lot of people might not have listened to, or maybe they did because Cowboy Carter kind of highlighted Shabuzi, right? Like this is the thing I wanted to talk about is that Beyonce's sort of love letter to American country highlighted a lot of contemporary American country artists like Shabuzi, right? Shabuzi is featured on Cowboy Carter, right? Like if I remember correctly, I don't.
Two tracks.
Yeah,
Two tracks.
yeah. So
he's
Shabuzi
featured
is on Cowboy Carter. So like it's the year. It's really like American country has had a very like I feel like it's an interesting time to be a American country listener because it's like the black people in the genre like are making like a definitive statement that you know the American country is also made like by black people, and I feel like that's the statement these two albums make. I don't know, like that's to me anyway. I don't know if the artists are saying that, but like that's my read on the sort of situation on American country music. What do you think?
I mean, we've talked about Cowboy Carter so much in the earlier in the year. My thoughts have stood the same. I don't think that there's really anything new to specifically add, so you can really listen back to that episode. But Cowboy Carter has held up the entire year.
Yeah, yeah. I have not really gone back to Cowboy Carter. I'll be real. As an album, it doesn't really work for me. I think we talked about this as you mentioned because there's a lot of filler in this that I don't particularly enjoy. The skits and whatnot. I'm not a skits person. That's also another. But I will give Jolene as one of my probably the best cover I've heard in a long time of a song that I really like. So that's good. Elka Prism of Pleasure. I
Not heard any of it.
Yeah, this one is a little bit more underground. I think I came through this through listening to KEXP. This is a queer artist from Wales, in the UK, and it is a very it's a deep house like album, like electronic deep house album, like kind of like late night club deep house. Like it's not like a party album in the same way. It's just kind of like club chill, like cocktail bar maybe vibes. It's like very queer, a lot of queer implications in the lyrics. It's a very intimate album in a deep house kind of way. So if you haven't heard this, I think it's a good one. Good one to listen to. I want to do like a hip hop segment here. Like I feel like all the next three albums I have on my list are all hip hop, and we also have a bunch of hip hop albums on your list. So let's like, I want to talk about the JPEG Mafia album because I haven't actually listened to it. I am not a JPEG Mafia person, but so I need you to talk about. I lay down my life for you.
There are two kinds of people in this world. There's people who listen to how distortedly fucked up the production is on a JPEG Mafia album and go, hell yeah, brother. And there are people who listen to it and go, I can't, like, you know, the that one reel or Vine or whatever it was of the kids' toy where you have the blocks and to put them in the hole, right? And then like the girl starts crying because they keep putting all the circles in the square holes. Like, I feel like that if you are the person who that breaks your brain, you're not going to like JPEG Mafia. But if you're someone who's like, hell yeah, I'll just put it whatever hole fits, then you will absolutely be down for a JPEG Mafia album. So,
yeah, I mean, it's Scaring the Hose music. Like it's literally literally his last album was called Scaring the Hose, and it is.
But this one is just so more introspective because JPEG Mafia has a history of just abrasive. Like I think he samples anything. He sampled a toilet for a cover of Call Me Maybe by Carly Rae Jepsen. Okay. It was just a flushing toilet that got auto-tuned in the middle of that track while WWE clips were playing. It's beautiful.
JPEG Mafia is just weird as fuck. I respect it. I respect the.
But this one gets a lot more introspective. Honestly, if there's any track you should actually listen to, it's JPEG Ultra with Denzel Curry. You would love that track. Because it is the least scaring the hose of the entire.
It's the least scaring the hose.
Like as a hoe, you will be not scared.
Okay, that's good to know. Yeah, JPEG Mafia. I respect the art, but it's not my kind of music.
So there's New Black History of Vince Staples, right? And it can only be what I describe as a floop-diddy whoop-diddy beat. If you just listen to it, it's so weird. It's so squishy. The synths on it are just so squishy. It's weird.
I didn't even know this came out. I think I don't remember it. But
I will say, Either On or Off the Drugs is top 10 tracks of the entire year. So Either On or Off the Drugs. He samples. It had like 200 views on YouTube. AI cover of Turn Off the Lights by Future, sung in the style of the 1970s through some random like open AI model.
That's
and
so
it's so
esoteric.
beautiful.
I love like the thing about JPEG Mafia is like as you said, like just these samples. Like how does he even find these? Like what is how do you even
Because it had so little. It had so little freaking like views at the time he found that. It's like the only one that exists on YouTube.
this man must be on YouTube like 24 hours a day, just like clicking shit and like listening to stuff. Like, ain't no way. Like, how do you find that? Like, it's like insane. That's like absolutely bonkers.
Also, Don't Put Anything on the Bible has a very beautiful instrumental 2-minute sung section by Buzzy Lee, which is Steven Spielberg's daughter.
Oh, that's an interesting.
So she is an artist, but yeah. So wild.
Yeah,
Wild.
That's I gotta listen to some of these tracks you mentioned because I haven't listened to it at all. And you know,
the first half is regular JPEG Mafia. All right. So once you go from JPEG Ultra through the end, it's very introspective. It's beautiful beats. Loop It and Leave It. It sounds, it's not a Final Fantasy 6 or Final Fantasy 5 sample, but it sounds like an SNES Final Fantasy sample just being looped. Like think of like you never played Pokemon, but you know, like you played enough RPGs to know like the ice, the blizzard levels have like those traditional harp OSTs, right? Like that's
yep. I know exactly what you mean. Yes, I know what you mean. Yeah,
that is literally just looped and has like 808s hit on it, and it's so weird, but it works. So production 10,000% yes on JPEG Mafia. I lay my life down for you. Lyrical content on the second half specifically is great. The amount of times JPEG Mafia says no Drizzy is very funny.
no Drizzy.
He'll say something a little bit weird and goes no Drizzy.
That reminds me of like Kendrick doing his little vocal inflections. It's like Baby Keem.
It was very funny too because during the Kendrick Drake beef, JPEG Mafia tweeted, "God damn, I thought I was the biggest Drake hater."
Oh, that's so funny. I didn't know that. That's good. Oh, I love JPEG Mafia. Shout out to JPEG Mafia.
So look, I think I do Chromacopia super quick.
Yeah.
I think that was pretty quick.
Yeah.
Next one. So
let's do it. Yeah.
So we got Chromacopia here, which is the latest Tyler the Creator album, and really this is just like a lot of bows, a lot of like bows and tying things and closing loose ends. Because a lot of Tyler's earlier stuff is him being extremely misogynistic and problematic, right? About women and about his father and his family life.
Yeah. A lot of the early sort of cherry bomb years, right?
Yeah, and this album is completely narrated by his mother. And it's like him addressing in a lot of tracks, like himself having children, the fact that he's scared of having children, the fact that he seems that he's like egotistical as fuck, the addressing his father issues in a way of like, you know what, I accept that man for who he is and the choices he made. And then it gets very silly. Sticky, as you can imagine, things get sticky sometimes.
Okay.
You got Glorilla and Sexy Red on it.
Yeah, we'll talk about the Glorilla album in next, but
and then you have Doechii on Balloon. My favorite line: "I don't give a fuck if he is gay, then we are gay." Like, okay, I respect it. I love that.
God, Tyler the Creator. Yeah, I've never been. We talked about this off call on other calls. Is that Tyler the Creator is like, I feel like if you get it, you really get it. I feel like Tyler Creator is one of those artists that like his music is good. Like Flower Boy, I really liked Flower Boy. I remember enjoying Flower Boy, but I feel like his music just doesn't stick with me as much. I don't know why.
I think it's a silliness. It works for some people, it doesn't work for others. Like in one track in Ratata, he keeps talking about like, I don't want no bitches at my house. And then what's the one verse? Never trust these motherfuckers or those women to tell them where you sleep at. And he says it just like this, and the music cuts when he says or those women. And it's just like, what?
Yeah. So you mentioned Glorilla, and I want to talk about Glorilla's album this year, which is as appropriately titled named Glorious. It's like there are no bad tracks on this album. I gotta say, it's like bangers, 42 minutes of bangers, like literally from track 1 to track 50, and it's like just like Glorilla just being like, "Fuck you, I'm here. This is me." And this Memphis rapper, like this is a good year for hip hop from the South, I think, because we have this album. We'll talk about Big X the Plug next, but this album is just, there are so many good tracks. My favorites like What You Know About Me, and like Procedure with Lotto on it, and like How I Look with Megan Thee Stallion on it. Great track. I just wish it was a little longer because it's only like 2 minutes long. And I just love her accent. I don't know how to say it. Like her flow and her accent are so good. That Memphis accent just hit right. It's good. I don't know if you've listened to this album actually. It is.
I've listened to all of it. Listened to a few tracks. I political views aside, if you could separate the political views, Sexy Red is like top 10 rappers right now, and that is an opinion I would take to the fucking grave.
Oh, I don't know anything about Sexy Red's political opinion, so I will. I don't know if I should, but I'm not a Sexy Red enjoyer.
She'd probably be in the Capitol on January 6th. Is how I'll put it.
Oh, okay, that's all right. Let's leave it there. I think because I don't think we need to get into that. Big X. Speaking of rappers from the South, this is Big X, the plug from Dallas, Texas. The biggest, the largest, as he calls himself. Just
It's so good.
no, that's literally like he's like the
no,
biggest.
I know it's so good though. Like
Yeah.
it's because of how funny he does it in his
Yeah,
tracks. I
the
love
way
it.
he says it is like I can't do it justice. Like when he says biggest, the largest. I'm just like, yeah. This album, I became aware of Big X the Plug. He had a feature on Shabuzi's album actually. Like he had one of the tracks, the Drink Don't Need No Mix. He was like featured on that track. And that's how I kind of discovered him. And when this album came out, I was listening to it. I was just like his flow and the way he raps, the way it's very introspective album talking about taking care of his family, having kids and trying to take care of everybody and et cetera, et cetera. There's a lot of introspection happening in this, and it's just a good album. Like 15 songs, 31 minutes. It's actually a fairly short album. And I've listened to it multiple times on repeat, no skips, just good stuff. I know when I sent this to you, your first reaction was very funny because you thought I sent you the Drake album by the same name, right?
Yeah, because all I saw, because sometimes it depends on your internet connection. You see the preview, right? And the preview didn't have the full photo, so I was like, "What the fuck you sending me Take Care for?" The only good tracks off Take Care are the ones that have The Weeknd on it.
Yeah, that's facts. The Weeknd is good. So yeah, this is the first track is Take Care. And that's kind of the vibe of this album. It's good. If you're a hip hop enjoyer and you haven't listened to Big X the Plug's Take Care, you should definitely listen to it because I think Big X is like, I feel like this is just the start. Like he's been around for a bit, but like I feel like this album is just gonna put him on the map a lot more. And it's gonna be like he's gonna become even bigger. I hope so because this man's good.
He's already the largest. Where can he go?
Yeah, the biggest, the largest. It's so good. I love his energy. Like all in his photos, like just so chill. Like good vibes. So that's Take Care. I think we already talked about GNX last week, so I don't think we need to.
Yeah, we could skip GNX. So let's do King of the Mischievous South. I'm shocked. Why is King of the Mischievous South not on your list?
Because I didn't. Okay, so it's not that I didn't enjoy enough of the album to say it's like, or rather, it was not impactful enough for me as an album this year to be on the list because my list is already pretty long. Right, there's a lot of stuff on it, so there's like this album just kind of like it was fine for me, like as far as Denzel Curry albums go, but like it didn't really as much stand out for me as like his previous album, which was definitely one of my favorite hip hop albums of all time. But like King of the Mischievous Sound, while good, it just didn't like stand out enough for me to put it on my list.
It's a mixtape for me. I feel like
it's a mixtape, which is probably why. It's kind of like not.
And also, Hoodlums is such a good fucking track. That song has been in rotation consistently since it dropped. So yeah, I will say King of the Mischievous South. The deluxe one that came out recently too has some really good plugs on it. Got Me Geeked, fire. Still in the Paint, also super good. It's ignorant. It got horns in it. What else do you need?
Yeah, absolutely. And there are two more albums on your list and one on my list. I'll quickly talk about Small Changes. This is like the album that I listened to. It's the most recent addition to this list. The Michael Kiwanuka is like a jazz fusion artist of some kind. Like I'm not entirely sure about the genre there, but it is a good album. Small Changes, great album. Just good jazz, more jazz vibes. I think I need to talk about Logic
We need to have an intervention.
I enjoy Logic's music sometimes. Like, I'm not judging anybody for enjoying Logic's music. I think Logic has a good, not good, rather like a. I can understand why people enjoy Logic's music sometimes, and like it's not. I don't listen to it that often, but he has some good tracks and he can rap. That's not. I'm not taking anything away from Mr. Logic. So what about Ultra 85 is kind of like, the reason you put it, like, what's the reason you put this on the list? What's the definitive thing?
I'm not proud of this. I'm not proud of having Ultra 85, but it's the first time he addresses all the shit we meme him for in an album without it being cringy.
So the biracial thing, he addressed the biracial?
Yeah, it's like addressed in like a measured, musically interesting, and lyrically coherent way.
That's I vaguely remember listening to this album, and like I know it's like a long album. It's like
there's some skips on it. I would not put
20
this, like,
tracks.
top.
Yeah, it's like 20 tracks, an hour and 17 minutes long.
The highlights are extremely high, so that's why I put on this list. There are skips on it for sure.
Yeah, I like Logic always felt like kind of like an artist that didn't know how to like fully express his very earnest ideas about stuff, like about being biracial. Like we memed.
Yeah, so if you want some good tracks that I cover this, right? Ghost of the Machine, Interstellar, In Retrospect, 40 Forever, Love Me, Antidote, Peace, Love, and Positivity, City in the Stars, Deja Vu, Favela, and Gardens 3. There's only like 3 other tracks on the album that I would skip. Like those are all of them are fantastic. So for that reason alone, it's worth listening to those.
I haven't listened to this album since it came out. Like I remember listening to it when it came out. It didn't really make an impact on me back then, but I wasn't really paying attention too much, honestly, to Logic and his music. I guess I wasn't taking Logic too seriously because for obvious reasons, I think it's hard to take Logic seriously.
Also, I feel like we neither of us probably have listened to this because it just happened. But SZA just dropped 15 tracks.
What? Hold on. Hold the phone. What? What?
So,
What's happening?
I don't know if this she
like on Apple Music or like what?
Yeah. He dropped a deluxe to SOS called Lana that has 15 new songs.
That's not a deluxe. That's a new album. Like
there's a Kendrick Lamar track on it.
Like we can't talk about this right now because literally none of us have listened to it. It's just literally just what are these TDE artists doing with like dropping these? I mean, Kendrick's not on TDE anymore, but like what are these TDE artists like doing with these surprises?
Speaking about TDE, I'm not gonna put Doechie's album on here, but her Tiny Desk performance should be in performances of the year.
Yeah, absolutely.
We do not have a performance of the year section. If we do, put her Tiny Desk. It is so
honestly,
good.
The Doechie album didn't make it to my list, not because I think it's bad. I actually like it quite a bit, but I just didn't listen to it enough to really kind of grasp it, so it's not on my list because I got to it kind of late. Like its appreciation kind of came after I listened to the Tiny Desk, but the Tiny Desk performance, if you can find the link, put it in. I probably have it in my history.
Yeah, I can put it up right now. I got you.
Yeah, I have it. Tiny Desk. I think everybody should listen to watch this Doechie's Tiny Desk concert because the live performance legitimately like is so fucking good. Like it like really elevates like her music in a real way. It's really fucking good. And like last album on the list, Annex Worries Wild Lord. I don't know how to say it.
Wild Lord. It is the sequel to Yes Lord from 2019. Oh, 2018. It was so. NX Worries is Knowledge and Anderson .Paak. Firstly, we already know Knowledge is fantastic. What top producer? I gotta search up when did Yes Lord come out? It was a long ass time ago.
It was a while ago. Yeah, it was a while ago. I got it.
2016.
Oh.
Yeah, it came out 2016. So it's been the sequel. It's very funny. I mean, it's not funny. It is funny because it's not my life, and I like enjoying other people's drama. It's very funny that this album is Anderson .Paak just dealing with getting divorced because he cheated on his girl.
Oh yeah, that's why I didn't like this because it was just kind of like I just didn't find it like an interesting topic for an album. Like personally, like not.
Look, I'm not gonna either confirm nor deny the reports. But if anyone's ever been a homewrecker here, you can relate to a little bit of what's going on there.
Okay.
We can just move now. Musically, it's fantastic, and lyrically, it's very funny. If you've ever been in that kind of situation,
I'll call out something about this. I do not appreciate the Dave Chappelle feature in 2024. Personally, I don't think Dave Chappelle should be featured on anything.
I'm not gonna fight you on that, but at the same time, you're also pushing SexyRed, and SexyRed's a lot more problematic than Dave Chappelle.
I just want to
put that
I just didn't know
there.
about SexyRed, but yeah, that's fair. I didn't
Like,
I don't follow SexyRed and her music or whatever, so I didn't know about her political views either. So okay, that's music.
wait, okay, just one last one. So I titled this section. I don't know if we have albums we're looking forward to, but so I could have sworn at some point in life we talked about this on the podcast. I'm gonna search it. Probably Shades of Brown, right? Shades of Brown, Windswept add-on. So in Ichigo Oba released Windswept add-on in 2020, right? She's a Japanese folk artist. That album is top 10, top 5 even. So if we ever did like a top like records of all time, mine is fucking weird. I know you were shocked that I listened to this kind of music, but
yeah, I was a little bit surprised. I was like, this is not the kind of music I expected you to be into, but that's cool. I respect it.
Apparently according to Google, we never, so if I had a top 5 albums ever, it would be honestly for 1 or 2, the DJ Carnage and Young Thug, Young Martha EP. I am unironically saying that thing it is 4 tracks. It is so good. Liger is such a good song. Homie is such a good song. Those have never been off repeat ever since that EP came out. The top 5 Windswept add-on would be there just because of how fucking lush, beautiful, and minimal at the same time that album can get.
Yeah, I gotta listen to this because now like this is the kind of music I like. Not always, but I do. Like if there's a certain vibe, like if I'm doing some writing or whatever, like this is the kind of music I'd put on if I'm writing.
So like if you want to understand me as a person, you would go from Young Thug to Windswept add-on.
Okay.
To
okay. To what?
To Future Sound of London. To like some.
Okay, I know Future Sound of London. We both grew up listening to Future Sounds of London. Like we can.
I'm not making fun of it. I'm just saying.
I'm saying like shout out to
a journey.
Yeah, shout out to IRC and EntropyNet.
To like some random ass Spanish music. Like that is just me as a person. So the fact that her follow up to it 5 years later is coming out February 28th. Like the Bandcamp links, everyone please check that out. The singles that have dropped so far have been fucking majestic. What is it? What is the Lumen? It's a French word. I can't fucking pronounce it.
Don't
pull it up the Bandcamp.
Let's not piss off the French listeners.
Lucifernier.
Luciferine.
Lucifernier. Fernine?
Ferine. French listeners.
Je ne sais quoi, je ne sais pas.
I will never apologize for mispronouncing French because the French don't deserve it. But please do let us know how you pronounce that word because I would love to know. But I will listen to Windswept add-on later because I put it on my wish list and I will put it on listen to it on Apple. That is I do like this kind of music, so I'm interested in this going back and listening to her 2020 album. So Ichigo Aoba.
I'm gonna start adding click-throughs to the fucking links I send you to see if you open them.
That's not.
I don't think you can do that.
I don't think that works. No.
If I just run my URL shortener, I think I can.
Yeah, the thing is, I don't like URL shorteners. Yeah, I'll just not click on the links if they're URL shorteners. Because
listen, I know how to phish.
Let's talk about video games. This is gonna be a weird one because I basically stopped.
Wait, did any of those come out this year? Hold on a fucking minute.
Nope. That's what I was about to get into how I didn't really play a lot of video games this year. I kind of stopped playing video games halfway through the year. Or rather I'd stop engaging with like bigger titles. Like I just played a lot of multiplayer games, a lot of Overwatch, Halo, Call of Duty, kind of live service stuff. I didn't engage with like more single player titles because I had a whole thing happen in the middle of the year that kind of changed my interaction with video games. Anyway, so I have 3 games on this list and none of them came out this year, but that doesn't mean they don't deserve to be out here. They're really fucking good games. And I think all of them are amazing games. Alan Wake 2. I played this in the beginning of this came out late last year, and I got around to playing it at the beginning of this year, January. And I still think about Alan Wake. I haven't played the DLC yet. I actually probably should do that at some point. I should probably play the DLC at some point.
Especially because it ties into Control, which is a game you love too. I'm pretty sure it's on your Game of the Year list.
Yeah, I love Control. Yeah, it's been a minute. I need to go back to like some of these games that have DLC and I haven't played them, like Alan Wake 2. So I'm gonna play Alan Wake 2, and I'm gonna, you know, wait. Uh, I also played a game I completely forgot to put on this list. I'm putting this on the list right now after Alan Wake 2. It's Resident Evil 4 Remake. I forgot about this. I legitimately forgot I played this. Like I don't know how much you were into like horror games, like or Resident Evil, I guess. But Resident Evil 4 Remake was my first Resident Evil game. I never played a Resident Evil game before. Resident Evil 4 Remake.
My contribution to this part of the conversation is about the Mac port of Death Stranding and got bored of it 10 minutes in.
Okay. So Resident Evil 4 Remake, just a really fun sort of action survival horror game. And the reason I enjoyed it is because it's more action than it is survival, because I don't really enjoy survival mechanics in video games. I'll be honest, I'm not a survival kind of person, survival game kind of person. But this game just slapped all the way. This is a solid game. Absolutely 10 out of 10. The DLC was kind of mid. I didn't finish it. Honestly, I'll be real with you. I didn't finish the DLC. It felt kind of mid. But the base game, 10 out of 10 game. The next game on my list, Horizon Forbidden West. I don't know when this came out. This came out on PC this year, right? Or rather, it came out in PC like last year. I don't remember when this came out on Steam or on PC, but yeah, the game came out in 2022. So which means that I've been waiting like 7 years to play this game. Because like Horizon Zero Dawn came out in 2017, and I remember playing that on like the PS4. It was the reason I bought a PS4 was to play Horizon Zero Dawn. I an idea of how much I love these games. Horizon Forbidden West just better than Horizon Zero Dawn in literally everywhere. It's just a straight up upgrade. Like everything about this game is just better. The writing is better, the animations are better, the visual fidelity is better, the storylines and the character interactions and the romance and all of this stuff is like just better. It's just a better game overall than Horizon. Guerrilla Games just straight up made a better game. And the DLC also has a surprisingly good queer storyline. I talked about this, I think. I might have talked about this on Voxels. Actually, is that it has a really good plot line. That it's really well written. So 10 out of 10 game. Also, did you play any of the Horizon games? I don't know if you have.
They're not on GeForce now.
Oh, they're not.
Sony does not allow any of their games to go on GeForce now. Yes, so I can't play.
Why? Sony? Why? That's
the only reason I wanted to, but as you know, I'm anti. Windows is cancer. So I will not build a gaming PC, but I will play it on GeForce now if it comes to it.
That's fair. I'm not. Yeah, that's Sony. What are you doing? And the last game on the list, Like a Dragon: Infinite Wealth. This was the latest Like a Dragon game after Yakuza Like a Dragon, the sequel to that, basically. And this one was like, I had some issues with this. There are like weird difficulty spikes and like kind of like a narrative plot like thing about VTubers, which kind of went off the rails. Like if there's
a whole contest to get VTubers in the game. I hope you know that.
I did not know that.
There are side characters that are actually VTubers, voiced by them.
That does not surprise me, but I did not know that. That's like absolutely not surprising because it's a whole ass narrative plot point about a certain VTuber personality in this game, like a character.
Case on?
No, like there's a character, like a antagonist or like not an antagonist, like one of the main characters, one of the primary characters in this game is a VTuber in game, right? Like I don't know if they're like a VTuber outside of the game. Like I think they're just like a normal voice actor. but like the character is like a VTuber in the game, and there's a whole plot line about VTubers. It's very weird. It's a very like I don't think this game will age well in some ways, but like it's very funny because like playing this game and knowing even a little bit about like VTuber culture is very hilarious. Like I don't know if you play this game, but like I think it would be.
I have not, and I've stepped away from VTubers because it's a little that's VTubing is like the end game of problematic streamer creator audience relationships.
Sure. Yeah, like I agree with that. I do find I mean this is like a JRPG. Like it's a long ass game video game. There's a lot of it's a like the studio like this is like in the style of like an RPG, right? Like you have dungeons and all that, and you have like turn-based kind of dynamic turn-based combat. It's fun. Like I really enjoyed it. This is the only kind of JRPG I really kind of enjoy. And that this and like Final Fantasy VII remake or whatever. Anyways, those are the 4 games I have on my list. As you can tell, like I didn't play a lot of big games this year, just personal reasons. So I don't have a lot of games that are like all released this year. So Cristian, what are your games of the year? Because this list is hilarious. Talk about like my list is bad. My list is not great, but at least it needs like I don't know. I'm not judging, but like I'm judging a little bit. Only a little bit. So what's this first one, Cristian?
I spent 160 hours this year watching anime, and I watched 69 nice individual animes.
I know.
But so my first game of the year, though, is Shattered Space.
I love you. Okay.
I mean, do we want to talk about the anime side of it? Because really, if you want my anime of the year, my anime of the year is ReZero, which is on its 3rd season. ReZero is forever the best anime.
Oh right, I forgot about ReZero. ReZero is good.
We've consistently talked about 30 years. Yeah, you should watch it. It's actually good. But okay, so Starfield had a DLC called Shattered Space. I'm on my 4th playthrough of Starfield.
I have.
And you know what's the best part about my playthrough of Starfield is?
Yeah.
I instantly boost my character to level 100 every single time I start a new playthrough. I don't do any of the leveling in the game.
Oh my god.
I just do a quick console command to bump it all the way up to level 100 so I don't have to grind shit. And then I just go through and play the same storyline quest, make different choices. And I've done it 3 to 4 times now.
You know what? I respect that. I respect that because you're just like kind of playing the game. And that's the way you play a Bethesda game. Like
I know people who just still play the same character in Skyrim because of how randomized some of the quests are right after you beat the main story. So Shattered Space came out, which explored the Valrune faction, and it was disappointing, short, not worth the money, cool visually, and not a throwback to Oblivion like Bethesda said, and I loved every second of it. But I do not recommend a single other person check it out.
I love this part. I love this for us. I love like this is like the media, like it's like your trash video game of the year, where it's like I love this shit, but nobody else should play it. Like absolutely not.
Next up, speaking about shit that I love that no one else should play, Destiny 2: The Final Shape.
Okay, I played it. I'm curious about it because I know Destiny 2: The Final Shape came out and like it happened, but I don't know what your reaction to it was. I don't remember actually. What are your
we finished the fight, right? So in pure Bungie fashion, you kill the witness, who's the big bad, right? Characters come back, you lose, they tie up some story threads, and then what is it? What was it? Shards of the Traveler, or whatever they call it. I forgot what it's officially called in game. Land on 3 different planets, which is what the current episodes are about, because people are getting powers from the Traveler. And Bungie's still doing the same kind of storytelling they were doing, where they say, "Wow, we really did some close narrative ends." And in the actual story, there were no close narrative ends. But it's all building up to frontiers. So at least like the Light and Darkness saga is behind us. It's kind of like Kingdom Hearts, where the story you got is the story you got. So now they could push forward because each of these episodes are contained and are not really like long-term stories, right? So the one with the Vex was just like a 3-month story that was just that. So even though they necessarily didn't really like conclude it in a way that I would call it a real conclusion, it at least is an isolated thing that they have said is not a long-term story. So that's what they're doing right now for these episodes. So really, unless like you're really into Destiny, I don't recommend you get into it right now. Just don't. It's not like I play it every now and then. I check into the content just because it's my thing. I do. It's like listening to the Verge cast. It's comfort food. So I love it.
Okay, so you finished that thought and I have to say something. But I realized the date on the Resident Evil 4 review was from
Yeah, it's 2023. I was gonna wait for you to see that because I saw that in the URL slug, and I was like, brother, I don't think you played that this year.
No, okay, that's gone. Sorry, I completely my lost track of games. But anyways, I have played enough Destiny to know that I don't stick with it. Like I can't really get into.
You don't want more of the same because it's just more of the same in different packages.
I just can't do that same loop again, like just in a slightly different flavor, just like slightly different flavor of the loop. Like I can't, I just get bored and like I know I can like the thing is I can't like I can see past the game design bullshit, right? Like I can see what they're doing and I can see the systems they designed. Like I can see through them, which makes them not enjoyable anymore, right? Like they're like kind of like I could see how the sausage is made in a way, like what the design is, like, and I can see it's the exact same shit they've been doing for literally years, right? Like more than like a
It's
decade.
like World of Warcraft, right? It's like World of Warcraft. The only way that World of Warcraft's going to grow is when they inevitably bring it to console. They're not bringing in new people on PC.
Probably not. No, not at this point. No,
they're probably churning, and or if they're bringing in new people, they're probably churning with existing people, right? So some of these games are like predictable businesses.
Yeah, or they're like, or the other like existing people coming back from like other MMORPGs like Final Fantasy 14 or whatever, right? Like it's kind of like those two games are probably trading players.
Yeah. So at this point, Destiny is what it is, you know.
Yeah, it's fine. It's Destiny. Cyberpunk 2.0, Cyberpunk 2077 rather, is this like was a game that you played how many times now?
This is my second time. I only played it once. I played it once on the Xbox One X when it first came out.
Jesus Christ. Okay, that's a while ago.
So I played the launch version of Cyberpunk and beat it with the suicide ending.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so
I had, I think, quite objectively the worst version of Cyberpunk. And right now, I am playing it on GeForce Now in the 4080 tier with patch tracing on, frame generation, DLSS. So I'm now objectively playing the best version of it that you can play outside of playing on a 4090.
Yeah, you are. You're playing the best version. Yeah. You haven't played the DLC, right? Phantom Liberty, but you have played like the best version of this.
Yeah, I'm probably going to pick it up next week because I want to do the other two endings. I'm about to start the Rogue ending because I did the Arasaka ending, and then I'm going to do the avocados, not avocados. Yes, the avocados ending. Yes.
I actually can't remember what the name was.
I can't remember the name.
Avocados.
The Panam ending. The Panam ending with the avocados.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do those two, and then I'll pick up the DLC. And this game is aged really well. CD Projekt Red has turned it into an actually good game.
It is a good game. I would maintain that it is, along with The Witcher 3, which is also one of another CD Projekt Red game, one of my favorite like action RPGs. Just straight up really good shit.
I've been saying this for years, but shout out to Polish. Polish food is fantastic. I'm not even joking.
All right.
Polish, one of the best countries in Europe.
Okay. All right. Shout out. I don't know if we have any Polish listeners, but I know y'all getting shouted out.
Whenever we talking trash about Europe, we're not talking trash about you.
Yeah, it's the French we're talking shit about usually.
And the British. Return to stolen artifacts.
Okay. Speaking of colonization, Black Ops 6. So how this is the latest iteration.
You know what I like about Black Ops is that it jumps every year. Call of Duty jumps every year from bastardizing your culture to bastardizing my culture. And you know what? I love that for us.
We love the diversity in colonization, like
the diversity in what kind of brown is fucking up the world today.
Exactly. Jesus Christ, man. So this one is the one set in like what? Like what time?
Cold War. Post-Cold War, like late 90s.
60s, 50s?
Yeah, Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton era.
90s. Okay, so it's like the late 90s. Okay. I haven't played the campaign. Is this what we're
I have not played the campaign either. I've only played multiplayer.
Yeah, same. I've only played, I kind of want to play the campaign because Call of Duty campaigns are like interesting, kind of like a game design kind of way. Like I find them fascinating as like an object because it's like they're kind of unique. Like you don't really get high production first person shooter campaigns anymore because nobody wants to make them anymore. Literally, other than Activision, right? Only Call of Duty is the only game that the last time we had a big campaign like this was Titanfall 2, and we all know how that ended. So like I'm curious. Actually, I kind of want to play this campaign. I might install it. It's a good, yeah.
Do it. I'm here for the multiplayer. I like, once again, Destiny multiplayer the Crucible been bad for years. Halo is Halo. It's okay-ish at this point. It's getting better. Like Halo 343 is doing the thing to do with every Halo game. When multiplayer numbers start dipping, they reintroduce the classic modes, which is what they have done right now in Infinite. They did it in 5.
They're fun.
They did it in Infinite. They did it in 4. They have done this every single time. So that's the only reason why Halo with multiplayer is good right now, is because they implemented classic modes that you can play with classic movement and classic maps.
Yeah, the classic
Black
maps.
Ops 6 though is like objectively a good multiplayer game.
Yeah,
it's fun.
like it legitimately. I love the way the guns feel in this game. Like literally the gun. I feel like a weird person's talking about gun feel in first person shooters, but it is a thing. Like I feel like certain games just have really good like first person shooters that have really good like guns that feel good to shoot. And this one, is this Treyarch, right? Or is it like it's Treyarch, right?
Yeah, it's Treyarch, but it's using the same, they've all moved on to the same engine now. Remember Cold War was not on the Infinity Ward engine. They are all on the same engine now for the Treyarch and Modern Warfare games.
Yeah, and the way it's like the guns just feel really fucking good to shoot. The feedback is good, right? The weapon feedback is good.
It's the latency, right? So I run it with, even I'm on GeForce now, I'm running it 4080, about 120 plus FPS. I use the SLS quality, and I have reflex boost on. It's so snappy, even over the network.
Yeah, that's it really just feels like a really solid first person shooter. Like it just literally feels really good to play. It's fun. Tears of the Kingdom, last minute addition to the list. This was the last game I played on the Switch. That's all I'll say. I did enjoy it, as a lot of people seem to have, but I didn't enjoy Breath of the Wild all that much either. So that is not surprising, actually.
I said earlier in the podcast that like, Tears of the Kingdom, whatever, I'm playing through it, probably won't talk about it. I had put over 200 hours in this game. I only put about 100-ish in Breath of the Wild. So I was like looking at it, I'm like, I apparently actually like this game a lot. I fully completed the map, the underground and the above ground. I have almost every shrine in the game. I know why you don't like Tears of the Kingdom and why I do. This is the most Bethesda-like Nintendo game.
It is. No, you're right. It is.
That's why
game. Yeah.
It hit that part of my brain. Like you unfortunately like Ubisoft games. Me and Bethesda games, I'll play every single one, and I will have fun in it.
Like we all got our trash video game publisher developer, and that's Ubisoft for me, and Bethesda for you. And you know, it's like a different flavor of trash, but you know,
because it's just fun to fuck around and just build stuff.
Yeah. I enjoyed some of the changes that they made with the mechanics, but that's not the kind of stuff that I enjoy doing in a video. I'm not a sandbox kind of guy. Like I'm legitimately not like I don't enjoy Minecraft for a reason. Like I can't get into Minecraft because I need the game.
You would die in Stardew Valley if you ever played that.
Yeah, I need the game to
actually die.
Yeah, I need the game to give me like a definitive set of objectives, like to check off a list or whatever. I legitimately, like, I'm not joking. Like I legitimately need that because otherwise I just get frustrated and like I'm like, what do I do? What the fuck do I do? Right? I just like I don't really like open world games that are that open ended, right? Like Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom. I just like a style of open world game where it's just like you have to kind of make your own fun, and I'm just like bad at doing that. So that's why I don't enjoy this design methodology of Tears of the Kingdom and like the Bethesda games. I mean, I have other reasons for not enjoying Bethesda games, namely like the shit ass engine. So yeah, that's I don't know if you have anything else to say where we can wrap this up.
I only have one thing. Biggest L of the year. Everyone who was publishing Switch 2 rumors. Biggest L of the year.
Yes. What about that Sony game that they stopped selling? Concord. Yeah. I remember.
That's another big L. That's an iconic L.
Yeah, that's an icon. Like that. If you're talking like iconic L's of the year, like that one is Concord.
If we're categorizing L's, we have like Slay, iconic, and big. You know, the largest. Those are the L's we have to deliver here.
Yeah, the Concord was the largest. The Concord was like the iconic, like absolutely massive, embarrassing failure for Sony. And the way they withdrew from that was just
chef's kiss.
But Sony also had a big success this year. Helldivers, right? Helldivers 2 was like a massive success for them. We don't need to talk about it, but I didn't play Helldivers 2. It's not my kind of game. But I'll have to acknowledge Helldivers 2 as a massive success.
Yeah, you win some and you lose some.
Yeah, we win some, you lose some. It's fine. So let's wrap this up. This has been I mean, this is probably the last episode of Voxels this year. I don't know if you were doing one next year because it's gonna be like Christmas weekend, I guess.
No, next weekend's the 27th. I have nothing to do.
Oh, all right. Then maybe
the
not
28th. Yeah, we could do one.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll actually do the biggest L's of the year.
Yeah, we can do a biggest L's of the year. We can talk trash about bad music.
The largest.
The largest. Now it's stuck in my head. Like I literally can't get that phrase up. Thanks. Shout out to Big X the plug. Go listen to that album. It's good. So as always, show notes, list of links of the albums that we talked about, the performance of the year from Daichi, the Ichigo Aoba pre-order link, the games of the year, which are my review links. Go read those. I want to write more game reviews. It's eventually more when the next Assassin's Creed game comes out. You can find me on Mastodon, on the Fediverse, at bankaccount.social, website, SadicSave.com, blogs, nullrouted.space, and most importantly, syndicator.com. Go check it out. Hit the subscribe button on the newsletter. Cristian, where do people find you on the worldwide web?
So I finally renewed my domain.
Yes,
so,
shout outs.
So the easiest place actually is loficarrots.link.
Oh, so okay.
Gravatar does like a link page you can tie to a domain now.
Yeah, I've heard of it. Yeah, I've heard of it.
Yeah, so I'm just doing that right now because links to my Mastodon, my blog, my other stuff. If you do want to pay for my WordPress domain for the next year, I did turn on gift subscriptions. So if you want to pay for that, go for it so I don't lose my domain again.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, help.
Yeah. But yeah, I have all my links there. Hit me up online. And I didn't introduce myself. I'm Cristian. 50 minutes into this show.
Really? I feel like this is like the new,
AKA Young C, AKA C from Young Crypto.
I feel like this is the new bit of Voxels, like where you forget to introduce yourself until like the end of the podcast. I feel like
that has been the thing, I think, for every podcast we've done since
at
least that one time we got Meat Boy fan mail. You remember that back in 2017? We got Meat Boy Meat Boy fan mail from Google Plus.
I don't remember this, but
I hope that unlocks some core memories in your brain that you'll think upon later.
I don't, but okay. Let's wrap this up. This has been a good, fun podcast. Hope everybody has a good holidays. If you celebrate Christmas, hope everybody has a good end of year. Regardless, we'll see you next week, I guess. Bye.
See you next week. I wish nothing but the best for you and nothing but the worst for your enemies.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.